So down here below you can see what the end product's going to be. This is the actual Brushbot that we're going to be making, and we're going to get into that in just a little bit. But I wanted to kind of show you the end result of what we're striving to achieve. And so when we connect these wires, it'll actually take off. You know, we're calling this the Brushbot, and we're calling the ArtBot, we're calling it the bot, which we're implying that it's a robot. But one of the things that I want you to think about is this really a robot? What is the definition of a robot? And is what we're doing actually creating one? So something to kind of think about as we begin here. So we're going to start with a toothbrush. Like I said, we're going to clip off the whole stem. And so I've made several of these. Sometimes I leave a stem on just for I have something to hold on to. Other times I clip all the way up to the edge just because I think it looks a little nicer. That's completely up to you. It's your Brushbot, so you do what you wish. But I'm going to keep this. The other thing that I do is I keep all these stems just for the fact that I never know when I want to use them again. And perhaps they could be something that I could use with my ArtBot if I want to get creative. Once we have the toothbrush clipped, the next step in terms of what we want to do is we have to get some adhesive onto the toothbrush head. So we are going to go ahead and do that now. So I'm going to use my double-sided adhesive tape here. I'm going to go ahead and stick this right on top. As I mentioned, there are many different ways depending on the type of motor that you have. What essentially we're going to be developing on top of this Brushbot is a circuit, which we'll talk about here in just a minute. From here, once we got the sided tape, you do want to make sure that you have probably at least a 1/4 inch exposed. So making sure that a 1/4 inch of the insulation has been stripped off. And so if you need to do that, that's where those wire cutters will come in very, very handy. And once you have that established, mine are already set up that way, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to place my battery right on top and kind of push it down to make sure I've got a good seal. So it holds on there nice and snug like I've done here. Okay, once you have that, then it's relatively pretty simple. If you wanted some other things you could think about too, I guess why we're in this stage, is if these wires here are too long, you could trim them back and then strip them so you don't have as much wire to play with. You know, that's just you and what you want to do and what you want to make of your Brushbot. So some people really care about that, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to go ahead and leave them just as they are. Once I do that, you will see then that this vibration motor right here has on the back side a piece for tape. You know, when we think about vibration motors, you know, these are what, when you get a text or a phone call in your cell phone, that causes your phone to vibrate. If you're old like me, you remember back in the day, there was this really cool thing called a pager, in which we could send numeric messages to each other, and then you'd go on the payphone and actually try to solve the message and then call people back. But this is what they would use, and this is what's going to cause movement of this Brushbot. So once we have that, that is the basics to the Brushbot. Very, very simple. So what we need to do next is go ahead and make it move.